Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my October book haul, and in case you can't tell, I finally caught up on Riverdale and Cheryl Blossom is my favorite character. Hence the cherries in her honor. I feel like my haul is not too overwhelming this month, which is kind of exciting. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things here, but it's just not as bad as usual, or I've organized things better. We'll see. But anyway, as always, gonna start with the new releases, then move into some backlist books, some arcs, and some graphic novels and manga. All right, here we go. So starting with new releases, I got Kingdom of Ash. Obviously, everyone knew this was going to be on here. I already finished reading it, and I'm dead now. I also got Muse of Nightmares, which, again, was an amazing series ender. This one I also truly, truly loved. I'm just so thankful that I got to read such phenomenal series enders last month. Like, it was a dream. I also got the beautiful collector's edition of Six of Crows. This is a UK exclusive book. It's not in the US, so I ordered... That was a very loud noise. Ooh. This is a UK exclusive book, so I ordered my copy from Book Depository, but as you can see, it has like a very pretty metallic cover. Then it's also got these beautiful red sprayed pages. The back says no mourners, no funerals, of course. And I've got this gorgeous red map. Oh, the title page is so pretty. I'm specifically flipping to show you. So we've got this No Mourners, No Funerals page. We have gorgeous character art within here by Kevin Wada. He's the one that did the trading cards for the series, and they put these in here. And oh my god, there's Kaz and Inej. Then we've got Nina and Matthias. Then we have Jesper and my child, Wylan. And then we've got more map. They better do Crooked Kingdom like this to match because I need it. I also got a copy of The Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell. This is the second book in the Last Magician series. This one is even longer than the first one, and I'm so excited because I read the first one last month and I loved it, and I need more of these characters, especially Hart, and I really can't wait to read this. I also got This Cruel Design by Emily Sivada. This is the second book in the This Mortal Coil series. I read the first one last year and I was very surprised because I was not expecting to love it as much as I did, but it ended up being one of my favorites of the year. So I'm really looking forward to reading the second one. This is like a biological thriller and it's so good. I really love the first one. I was recently at a book event and now I'm like blanking on which one it was, but someone said that Emily Sivada, when she was writing these books, she always knew the last line of every chapter, and I totally believe it because seriously every chapter ended on like a cliffhanger, so I kept needing to read the next chapter to find out what was gonna happen, and that's why I just like flew through it, and I'm really hoping that it's gonna be the same thing with This Cruel Design, and I really like this cover. I'm excited. I also got the UK edition of Wildscard by Marie Lu. This again, I love this duology so much. I read this one earlier in the summer and I decided to go with the UK version because I was hoping and it worked out well. You take this off. Look at how pretty. The other one is like a rainbow. So I was like, I bet they'll do something fun with the second one. So I pre-ordered that. Then I got all of the new covers of the His Fair Assassin series by Robin Lefevers because this is one of my favorite series. So the first one is Grave Mercy. The second one is Dark Triumph, and the third one is Immortal Heart, and these are about assassin nuns, and if you want more detail, I talked about them in my underrated YA fantasy series recommendations video that I posted last week. I also picked up a copy of An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green because I am very curious about how this is gonna go. This is actually an adult novel, and I thought that it was sci-fi, but I heard someone also say it was contemporary, but I could swear there's like robots, so I'm not really sure what genre this fits into, but I am very curious to read it and to see what Hank Green's writing is like. I've read a lot of John's books, and Hank is cool too. Oh my gosh, and it's blurbed by Patrick Rothfuss. Okay, now I'm even more inclined to pick this one up. I also picked up Saw Kill Girls by Claire Legrand. This is a thriller book and it takes place on an island, I believe. So it takes place on this like spooky island where girls have been disappearing for years, and then finally there's one girl that decides to fight back. And I believe there are 4 main characters and it follows each of their perspectives, and it just sounds like it's gonna be a good, creepy thriller. Had to get it. And speaking of thrillers, I also got a copy of Little White Lies by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I really love Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I loved her Fixer and the Long Game books, and I know that I need to read the Natural series, but this is her new one that's coming out called Little White Lies, and this is a thriller, and you guys will actually hear more about this in a video that I am doing next week. I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. So next, and this is kind of funny, I have 2 signed copies of Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa, because I have had multiple people tell me that I will love this book because it's basically an anime and it has a lot of Japanese culture in it. So I've been really wanting to read it, and I went to the Laini Taylor event at Books of Wonder, but I obviously already own all of Laini Taylor's books, but you need to buy a book at the store in order to get your book signed. So I decided to pick up a copy of Shadow of the Fox because Julie had an event there, so they actually had signed copies. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. And then little did I know, couple days later, got my owl crate in the mail, and I got Shadow of the Fox, and this one is also a signed copy. So now I have 2 signed copies, and it's really pretty, and I'm really hoping that I'll end up loving it as much as everyone tells me that I will, because then I won't mind having multiple editions. Then speaking of owl crate, I also got Pride by Ibi Zoboi, and this is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, and it takes place in a neighborhood in Brooklyn that is being gentrified, and it just sounds like it's going to be a really good modern twist on Pride and Prejudice, so I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. Again, I don't know if I said it, this is the Owl Crate exclusive version. The other one has blue on the cover. Then I got Persepolis Rising, which is the 7th book in the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. I've been picking these up as they come out in paperback with the intention of catching up, and yet I've still only read the first book, but they're just so long. Once I get involved, it's gonna just take over my life for like a very long time, but I really do need to get to that second one very soon. Then I got one that I'm really excited about called Anna and the Apocalypse. It's by Catherine Turner with Barry Waldo, and it is a horror comedy about a girl and her friends who are trying to fight this oncoming zombie apocalypse during the holiday season. And it sounds like it has the potential to either be really good or really bad. And I mean, like, when I say really good, I mean bad in the way that, like, it's so bad that it's amazing, especially because it's inspired by a major motion picture that's coming out next month. So I don't believe that it was actually like written first. I think it's like an adaptation of the movie, but either way, I'm very much looking forward to reading it. It sounds like it's going to be a fun kind of crossover. I love Halloween and Christmas, so I love when the two are kind of combined. Next, I got a copy of Light as a Feather, and this was sent to me by Simon & Schuster. This is actually a really good book for the Halloween season, and I did not know, but this book was just adapted on Hulu, and you can watch all of the episodes on there. So I do plan on reading this soon, and I actually added the show to my Hulu queue as well, because I would also like to watch it. It's like that light as a feather, stiff as a board thing. I don't know if you ever did that when you were young, but we definitely used to do that at sleepovers all the time when I was a child. Then Scholastic sent me a copy of Witchborn by Nicholas Bowling, and I really like this cover, and I pretty much don't need to know anything about books that have witch in the title. Like, that just immediately grabs my interest off the bat. So it follows a girl who is in an asylum, and her mom was executed for witchcraft, and then she gets visited by these 2 strangers who maybe help her escape, and it sounds like it's gonna be really interesting. Next, I'm gonna show you some ARCs that I got. So first, I have Arch Enemies, which is the next book after Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is Marissa Meyer's superhero series. Like I said, the first one came out last year, and it left on such a cliffhanger that I cannot wait to read this one and find out what is gonna happen next. Then I got The Afterword by E.K. Johnston. This is one from Penguin that is coming out in January, and this sounds like it's gonna be really good because it takes place after like a giant epic fantasy quest, and I believe that the 2 female main characters are in a relationship, and it's like about what they do after everything. It sounds like it's gonna be really good. Also from Penguin, I got 4 Dead Queens by Astrid Schult, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I love how many Queen books there have been lately. Into it. So it involves a stolen package, and when these 2 characters try to retrieve it, it leaves them in a conspiracy that has found all 4 of the queens dead. So the characters go on the run, and they need to try to figure out who killed the queens in order to save their own lives, and it sounds like it's going to be really, really good. Then I have Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Syke. This book I got at New York Comic Con, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. I waited in a very long line for this ARC drop, and it was well worth it. I really love the cover. This is actually the author of The Crown's Game, which I haven't read yet, but this book is actually inspired by feudal Japan, which sounds right up my alley. Then also from New York Comic Con, I got got a copy of Bloodleaf by Crystal Smith. This one comes out in March of 2019, and aside from being drawn to this like gorgeous cover, it also sounds amazing. It follows a princess who has blood magic, and there is an attempted assassination on her life, and then she has to flee her country, and she ends up going and disguising herself as a commoner in this new land. She ends up kind of falling in love with a guy who is forbidden from ruling aside her because she's already betrothed to someone else, and then she's going to need to choose between her life as the princess being in charge of the crown or her new life where she is kind of free and happy. Sounds like it's gonna be great. Next, I got this incredible Shelf Queens box from Riveted Lit, and I'm so excited because there were so many good books in here, and I will now show them to you. I already posted them on Instagram, but obviously you can see them now too. So first, I got these Shelf Queen buttons. I also got Slayer buttons. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I was really excited when I opened this. And obviously the first book within here is Slayer by Kirsten White. This book is coming out in January, and it is a reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It follows a new Slayer, and like I said, I love Buffy so much, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I've actually never read anything by Kirsten White before, and people seem to love her writing, and she really like cranks books out. Like she writes like so many things, so it's weird that I actually haven't gotten to one of her books yet, but this is going to be my first one. Also in this box is Crown of Feathers by Nikki Prow-Prito. Probably saying that wrong, sorry. The tagline here says that sometimes the title of queen is given and sometimes it must be taken, which really like speaks to me. But it follows a pair of sisters, and I know that there's a lot of like lies and betrayal between them, and one of the sisters disguises herself as a boy so that she can seek out these Phoenix Riders who kind of ruled their kingdom at one point, and it sounds like there's just going to be like an epic fantasy battle for this throne, which is so pertinent to my interests. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Next, this is one of the ones that I am most excited for that is in this box, and it is Sky Without Stars by Jessica Brody and Joanne Randale. And as you can see, we've got this Eiffel Tower here, but I believe this is actually like a Les Mis retelling. So there are like whispers of revolution happening on this planet. We get multiple character perspectives. It is very long. I feel like this is going to be a very epic book. It doesn't come out until March of next year. Oh, and it's the first book of the System Divine series. This is one that I am really looking forward to diving into. So Parisian. I'm loving all the Paris books. Also in here is Girls with Sharp Sticks by Suzanne Young. It follows a couple of girls who go to a school called the Innovations Academy, and they end up discovering all of these secrets that are going on there. It says that it brings the same trademark plot twists and high octane drama that made the program such a best-selling series. I actually haven't read Suzanne Young's other books, but a couple of my friends are obsessed with them, so I am very much looking forward to reading this one. And then lastly, we've got The Cold Is in Her Bones by Peter Nell Van Arsdale. It follows a girl who lives in this village where demons possess girls at random, and it follows a girl named Mila who sets out to try to break the curse forever and save her friend Iris from this terrible fate, but she finds herself changing along the way and isn't sure if she is going to be a demon herself. And this one comes out in January. Then I've got some backlist books to show you. So first, thank you so much to Isabella Activist on Instagram for alerting me to the UK edition of Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. I love this book so much. I can't wait for the second one, which is coming out very soon in November. But check this out. So I don't super love the UK cover, but the reason that I got this, there's Jupiter North on the back, is just look at this beautiful cityscape. I am so in love with it. I love all of the gold flecks and everything. I just think this is so gorgeous. Look at all this darkness we've got going on up there. So beautiful. And you can bet I ordered the second one too. Then I got The Price Guide to the Occult by Leslie Walton. This has red sprayed edges, which is a big selling point for me, but it's about witches, and I've heard good things from a couple of people who have read it, so I've always been kind of interested in it, but I believe it's like magical realism, and it sounds like it's going to be interesting. Again, I love things with witches, so this was kind of a no-brainer. Then at New York Comic Con, Andrew and I went to a panel of Patrick Rothfuss and Ari Salvatore, and I was really excited to see them and see them talking and stuff. So I got my first Ari Salvatore book, and that is Timeless, which is a Drizzt novel. He is responsible for creating I believe it's the world of the Ice Winds in Dungeons and Dragons, and as you know, Andrew and I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons lately with Alexa and Mackie, and we're both like very into it, so I'm really interested in reading more about druids, and that's like largely what Ari Salvatore writes about, and it's a signed copy, which is cool. We also got another copy signed of The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Surprisingly, I didn't own this one because I actually own the hardcover with this cover, but who can say no to more Name of the Wind books? I know I can't. Then also at New York Comic Con, which I'm so excited about, I got this beautiful book called Women of the Galaxy by my friend Amy Ratcliffe. She wrote this book. She did so much research for it. It highlights 75 women within the Star Wars galaxy. There are beautiful art pieces in it. There are so many artists that contributed, and it just tells like all about the females that make the Star Wars galaxy what it is. We've got beautiful Rey on the cover, and the cover art was done by Jen Bartel, who does a lot of other art within here too. You should see her Leia piece. It's phenomenal. But I'm so excited. This one just came out on October 30th, but I was able to get it early at New York Comic Con, so obviously I did, and I cannot wait to read it. I am really, really excited. Actually, her Leia piece is right on the back, so that's Leia. Just how she captured like her exact facial expression is incredible. Then I got this beautiful edition of Peter Pan, which matches the rest of my V&A classics. I really like these. So I have a bunch of other books that are in the same vein, and this will sit on that shelf with them. I also got the other Puffin classic series of The Railway Children by E. Nesbit. This is a classic that I think I'm going to plan on reading in 2019 because I did a terrible job of keeping up with the classics that I wanted to read this year, but I do want to get back into it, so this will happen. Oh, I forgot, I also got The Brilliant Death by Amy Rose Capetta. This is another one that I got from New York Comic Con, and this is a fantasy novel, and I believe it's about like mob families, so it sounds like it's gonna be pretty cool. It says a daughter torn between loyalty to her family and owning power. And it says that it is a gender-bending and endlessly surprising love story, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading this one. And then lastly, graphic novels and manga. I got a finished copy of Aquacorn Cove by Katie O'Neill. I already read this one, really enjoyed it. It's very cute. The artwork is amazing. It's like a pastel dream, and it's so cute. And it's about like water unicorns, which they're amazing. I also got volume 14 of Yona of the Dawn. I need to start reading these because I watched the anime and then I was like, I need more and I need to read the rest of the series, and then I bought the rest of the series and I haven't read it yet, so I have to do that. I also got volume 9 of Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Sadly, this is going to be the last volume for quite a while because they said that they're taking about a year break, I believe. Very much looking forward to reading that. And lastly, I got a copy of Sanity and Tallulah by Molly Brooks, and this is a middle grade graphic novel, and it follows these two girls who are on this spaceship and they're best friends and they love science, and they end up genetically engineering this very cute three-headed kitten, but it escapes from the lab and starts causing havoc, and the two of them have to team up to stop that from happening on the spaceship. So that is it. Those are all the books that I got in October. Let me know if you've read anything that I've mentioned, if you're excited for anything. That's all that I have for this video, so I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!